Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I wanted to bring light on this current situation that's been going on, this trial that's been going on. We're still waiting, for this man's sentencing and etc. I don't know if you guys remember this story, but I'm definitely going to put a video that gives you a quick, refreshing, not refreshing, that gives you a quick breakdown if you have not heard of this story. So let's go ahead and get started in today's video.
A French man has admitted drugging his wife and letting 50 men rape her. He told the court, "I am a rapist." This story is pretty distressing, so just a warning before we go into any of the details. So the case has been going on for a while now, but in case you've missed it, this woman, Gisele Pelicot, has become a symbol of the fight against sexual violence in France after waiving her right to anonymity and facing her husband in court. Her husband, Dominique Pelicot, is accused of drugging Gisele and inviting at least 50 men over to rape her. Prosecutors have said he offered sex with his wife on a website and filmed the abuse over the course of 10 years. And after it all came to light, Gisele found out that she was carrying 4 sexually transmitted diseases. It's a case that shook France and the world. After a delay in hearings due to his health, her now ex-husband has finally given evidence. He said, "I am a rapist just like all the others in the room." The couple have been married for decades and have 3 children together. He told the court that his now ex-wife did not deserve this. In cases like these, you'd expect to see the person accused. Dominique Pelicot is held in custody and enters the court through a special entrance which the media isn't allowed into, and you can't take pictures or film inside the courtroom. Alongside Dominique, 50 other men are accused of rape and are on trial, and his testimony will be crucial for the judges to decide the other men's fate. It's huge that Gisele decided to have a public trial. She wanted to shift the shame to the accused, her lawyers say, hoping her story would help other victims of drugging and abuse. And in France, hundreds of people have come out to show their support for her, holding placards saying, "Victims, we believe you. Rapists, we see you."
Yeah, women aren't safe anywhere. Women aren't safe with men. The men that you have in your lives, I mean, yeah. And to add worse to this conversation, he was part of a group chat with 70,000 other men that are doing the exact same thing to the women that are in their lives. Mothers, children, sisters, cousins. They are using and abusing the women that are in their lives, taking care of them, feeding them, washing their clothes. Yeah. I'm going to share a few stitches with you guys, and I'm going to give on my opinion at the end of the video.
Hey, y'all, we got to have a conversation. Did y'all hear about the 70,000 plus male chat group where men are in there supporting one another as they tell the stories about graping and essaying their mothers, sisters, daughters, co-workers? The list goes on and on. They're in there telling each other how to do it, supporting each other, telling them there's nothing wrong with them, telling them that it's normal. Y'all, let's talk about it. So as the story goes, one day recently, a man gets caught because he was caught drugging his wife. Okay, he drugged his wife for the 10 years that they were married. He drugged his wife, and every night after she would pass out, he would let other men come in and essay her while she was unconscious, right? So he got caught doing this. When he got caught, his response, according to the police, his response was not normal enough. His response was like, something is wrong. Something is bigger. Why is he not responding the way he should to this? During an investigation, you guys, they go to the man's house, and what do they find? They find on his computer the 70,000 plus male chat group of men doing this to their women in their houses. Wives, mothers, daughters, co-workers, endless, you guys. There is a reason women are shouting, saying they are no longer safe. They do not feel safe around men. And I am not going through the explanation of having to say it's not all men. And to the men who want to keep saying it's not all men, simply be an ally and come for the men who are doing this. We have enough common sense to know it's not all men. But the number of men that are doing this has made it so unsafe for women to try to get married again, for women to try to date again, for women to bring men around their children, for women to trust a husband with children. This has become so dangerous, you guys, that we can no longer ignore that this is happening. I am fascinated to see what the men have to say now that the evidence has come out that women have been shouting that this is happening and men have been trying to silence their voice, claiming it's not, or that it's not all men. I'm so interested to hear what you have to say now. We are unsafe and we are tired of having to explain ourselves. Our children are unsafe. The idea that a son can think that it's okay to drug his mother, to essay her, to live out a fantasy that he more than likely either learned in one of these chats or on in corn, you know what I mean, then realize this fantasy by drugging her. Y'all, we need to talk about this. Please stay safe out here. Keep the children safe. Keep your female friends safe. Keep yourself safe the best you can. Listen, you guys, join me in the chat. Let me know if you've heard about this. Let me know if you've seen this. We've got to do what we can. Again, I'm going to say this to the men. We no longer want to hear about it. It's not all men. Please stop it. Just please stop. If you're going to be an ally to women and children, then get on the case for the men that are doing this. If you're not, please don't come over here talking about it's not all men. It is enough of you guys that we need to be cautious, and we need to shout, obviously, to the highest mountain that we are unsafe. This is one finding of these chats of 70,000 plus men who admitted to doing it and teaching one another how to continue doing it. You guys join me in the chat to continue this conversation, and stay safe out there.
Learning the final details of the Gisele Pelicot case has been so disturbing. And if you're not familiar with this case, this is about a woman who has discovered that her husband has been drugging her and raping her for the last 20 years. Not only that, but has been inviting strangers to join in those activities. And they only figured this out because he has another case where he got caught filming and taking pictures of people's skirts. And then they discovered videos of him raping his wife on his computers and stuff. There are 3 things in particular about this case that really disgust me. One being that this is your everyday man. Her neighbor came over to rape her because he was having problems with his ex-wife. There was a baker that was involved, a tiler, like a guy that will come and fix your house. These are everyday people. Secondly, they have families, particularly daughters, particularly wives. While there were probably warning signs that they brushed off and ignored, some of these men have criminal histories. Who else is impacted by their pervertedness? Secondly, I hate that we fault women for men's actions. The question is always, what did you do to deserve harm, and never why would you do that? Whenever I post my experiences with men on here, it's always a guy asking what did I do to deserve it, but they never deny that that's above their character. Always, oh, what were you wearing and what were you doing to ask for that behavior? Like, no, men would never do that. We're above that. Then when they can't justify men's actions, they're just like, oh, pick better men. If you were around better men, this would have never happened. Or you know how men are. Why would you do that? But the worrisome thing about it, you never know what men. One of the men on the trial missed the birth of his daughter because he was too busy being a rapist. Gisele genuinely thought her husband of 50 years was a good person. Oh, he would make me snacks and ice cream and cook for me. That was his method of drugging her. And here she is thinking he's nice because he's cooking for her and making sure she gets her snacks and making sure she's fulfilled. When really he's using generosity to cover for his crime. And that's the problem with a lot of men. Men can't do something nice without trying to manipulate you or like buttering you up so they can't coerce. So not only are men admitting that being a predator and a rapist is not above them, but they're also admitting that they're not really nice without any reason. Their generosity always comes at a cost. This man kept up the facade for 20 years. She thought she had dementia because she couldn't remember stuff. Would come to her appointments with her and wouldn't say a word. Didn't feel an ounce of guilt. And the third most disturbing thing about this case was the men's testimony. These men knew something was off about the arrangement and they just shrugged it off and ignored it. They knew it was iffy they weren't getting the consent of the wife. They knew it's iffy that they're in a game but this lady isn't moving or responsive. The guy said he thought it was weird her legs were dangling everywhere because she was drugged, but did he continue on with the mission? Yes. These men knew they were dealing with an unconscious woman and still proceeded to rape her. But they were okay with it because they thought it was a game. Why would you want to engage in a game with a woman that's not responsive to you? So it makes me think about how many men are rapists by the nature that they will engage in lukewarm acts. They will blatantly ignore getting any consent. They'll blatantly ignore that the woman is on drugs or too drunk When you add up all those conditions, how many of them are guilty of it? And that is the disturbing part of it all. These are your everyday men. They have children. They're married. And they're okay with ignoring the signs in order to get what they want. And they don't feel bad about manipulating you. And they will keep up this mask for years and years and years for however long it will benefit them. And we will never know who's collateral damage in these situations. Like, I think Gisele's daughter may have been a victim as well. What about their wives, their daughters, innocent citizens, strangers that have been inflicted by these men and they won't get justice? And for that, I am so proud of Gisele for being the face of the case. She's dealing with so much scrutiny. She has to relive all of these situations. She learned that her husband of 50 years was not really a good person. She said there is no amount of therapy that can fix the chaoticness that went on in her life. But as long as she gives another woman enough courage to speak out and be loud about it, she's
Let's
fine.
look for a second about how men have responded to the Gisele Pelicot case, because we haven't really heard a lot about this. But this thread by David Shallen pulls it apart. It's so good. Let me just read it. In wake of Sarah Everard, men were rallied to speak out against male violence. Instead, hashtag not all men trended. Here we are again. Gisele Pelicot's case is a moment. Many men silent again. Every day, men committed this. Every day, men must speak out against it. David Shallen, you are 100% correct. Male violence against women is an epidemic because of countless men refusing to believe such monsters walk in their circles, yet they do. They have a responsibility to help confront it. Women cannot regale men about their fear they create in their lives for the umpteenth time again. And I love the fact that what we're saying is that this is what Gisele's saying. Gisele is saying, take the shame from me and put it on the perpetrators of this male violence. And David is saying exact same thing. Also, I have such an issue with men who rape women or assault women or, being described as monsters, because they're not monsters, they're men. They're very much everyday men. And this is how they're being described now, like on social media and, I think in the French news as everyday men, because they need to be described as that. They're not monsters. They walk amongst us. They're around us. Dan Shallen goes on to say, glad to see men like Daniel Reist, someone who else I think we need to be reading, write powerful pieces like this on the need for men to engage. We must teach men to dispel great myths and understand that the majority of sexual crimes are committed by close friends and family, not the lone attacker. The idea of the lone attacker, I mean, yes, that's still a risk, but a majority of these cases are people who are known to the victim. Men, stop being angry when women ask you to speak out against male violence against women and girls. Instead, get angry about women being repeatedly shunned and attacked by men when they do. More than 51 men raped a woman who is choosing to walk tall and carry not an ounce of shame, yet many men still can't utter a word in support. And misogyny has really done a number. Misogyny has really done a number. To acknowledge the remarkable, brave, and inspiring. It is nothing short of long history of othering women, or in other words, patriarchy. I mean, David, future generations of women and girls will look up to statues of Gisele Pelicot and recognize the inspiring stand she took for women globally. And I think she needs all the awards. Give this woman all of the awards, all of the recognition, because what she's doing is, you guys already know how I feel. Yet, it is for this generation of men to ensure a foot. Those statutes stand men and boys showing that same recognition and respect too. Absolutely, we need to hear the men support of this, and we're not hearing it. And I love the fact that David Shallen and Daniel Reist have taken the time to speak on this as men, because there needs to be more men in the space speaking on these matters, because actually maybe men will hear from you guys what they're not hearing from us.
How many men would it have required for this man to have gotten more than 20 years? I wonder what the French justice system, what they have decided a woman's body and self-autonomy is worth. 20 years was the maximum. This man drugged and wife for a decade and invited strange men to do it as well. And he got 20 years. That fool needs to rot. He should get life. Talk about a danger to society. This is the same man who only got caught because he couldn't keep his deviant ass proclivities under check and had to go out in public and try to look under women's skirts. And you mean to tell me that that's only worth 20 years? Lock that fool up, throw him under the jail, throw away the key. That's what he deserves. He should die in that prison. And you mean to tell me that the other 50 men who engaged in this disgusting behavior, you mean to tell me that they got less than what the prosecutor requested? That the judges took it upon themselves to give them lesser sentences? And I'm sorry, what does it take? What does it take to get a proper punishment? What you talk about 3 years? You went and a woman, an unconscious woman in her house at the behest of her creep ass husband. Talk about a network, a nasty ass, deviant ass network. And you going to jail for 3 years? And they say don't exist.
Girls, I'm actually so happy with the Gisele Pelicot results today that like not one person got acquitted. But the one thing that just like I cannot get out of my mind is like that so many of the men's last offense, and I'm not saying every man because some guys asked for forgiveness, but so many of the guys' last offense was that like they didn't really have a choice in the matter, that the predator was fully the husband, that their hand was forced into this. And I'm like, first of all, this woman was unconscious, so clearly you would have been aware that something was wrong from the get-go. The other thing that makes me so unwell is the fact that so many of these men were on these sites looking for that sort of thing. So take a little bit of responsibility because you were out there looking for that. So how do you think that that defense is going to work? I'm sorry, like I know not every man was found on that site, but so many of those men were. So you knew what you were getting yourself into, and also if it wasn't going to be her, it would have been somebody else. And that's the thing that makes me feel so unwell. And like, it's crazy how so many of these men, some of them were doctors, some of them were lawyers, nearly all of them had wives and families and kids, and you're out here with the capability of doing that to other women. It's just so sick. And like, so many men are like, why would you choose the bear? I don't know, why would we choose the bear? I honestly can't deal with it. I actually can't deal with the fact that that was some of their defenses. Like, you were looking for that. Like, that is so messed up. Honestly, I feel so bad for that woman and the hell she's had to endure. I know what everybody else thinks, but honestly, I don't even think the sentences were long enough, to be honest. She should be locked away for life for doing that sort of thing.
As disgusted as I am, I don't really have much to say on this topic, but I just wanted to bring light to this current, situation. I wanted to bring light. I wanted women to know what's going on. I wanted women to hear this for themselves. Okay, because we love bringing up what's going on with women and hearing men say, "Oh, not all men," right? It's like, that's not the point. The point is, we're not safe with you. The point is, you are our number one predator, our number one unaliver. That's the point. We're not saying it's all men. We're saying it's majority of you. And unfortunately, you saying it's not all men doesn't necessarily help the conversation or the situation. I'm bringing this video to bring light because women need to protect themselves. It don't matter if you have a man in your life that's saying, oh, not all men, or that's gaslighting you and telling you you're okay. As a woman, you should know your own body. As a woman, you should make sure you are getting checked, because you are not safe on this planet. You are not safe around men. They are doing this to their own daughters, their own mothers, the people that brought life to them. So if 2025 isn't the year where you decenter men, where you stay the fuck away from men, and you raise the bar, you raise the standard and expectations, because right now the bar is in hell. It's in hell because a lot of women are still ripping their coochies and having children for these men are still catering, pandering, or still auditioning for these men. The bar is in hell, and y'all need to raise it. Only us, only women can, stand on business, set the bar, and stand on it. We are not safe. The solution to me, stay the fuck away from men. That's it. Like, that's really it. That's it. I literally had someone pay a ticket and come visit me. Okay, my ex-fiance, he came in and came visit me for Christmas and New Year's, really, because Christmas had already passed and he just came around like the 30th. And, you know, I slept on the fucking couch. This couch. I slept on this couch. It's like, why are you? I'm like, it don't matter. And I closed my door. It's like, you're different. Yeah, I'm different. Of course I'm different. I wake up every single day and I hear stories like this. I wake up every single day and I have to hear something new. Another woman being unalive. Yes, I'm cautious. I don't care. The Jenny you knew before, it's not the same Jenny now. We cool. I respect you. I'm grateful that you came to visit me. I appreciate that. But yeah, no, I do not trust nobody. And I was just on the phone with somebody else last night. And he's like, you talk to me about a lot of things. You talk to me. And I'm like, yeah. But he's like, then you don't trust me. I'm like, no, I don't. You're not special. I don't trust anyone. Take it personal if you want. Be offended if you want. I do not care. And if you understood where women were coming from, you wouldn't be offended. I make it known. I make it clear that I do not feel safe with you. I would never trust you to a certain degree, to a certain level. Ever. Don't even waste your time. My walls are being built every single day. You would never break down my walls. I would never give a man that opportunity ever again. And then they will have the nerve and ask, oh, who hurt you? I don't need to physically or personally be hurt. This story alone, this message alone should be enough for you to be careful and move accordingly. And then when you get effed over by somebody, men will tell you you should have chosen better. And when you look around the world, any country, and you're asking yourself, where the hell is the better? Because there ain't no better out there. We are surrounded by our number one unalivers. And again, I'm just bringing this video to bring awareness, to make sure that her story is being shared. Her story is being told on all platforms everywhere around the world. And just to give women a warning. I care about you guys. I want you guys to protect yourself. I want you guys to protect yourselves. So that's why I'm bringing this video, to bring awareness and to bring you a caution message. Be cautious out here. It's the person you least expected, unfortunately. I hope you heard me. I hope you heard her story and you got something out of this video, which should be to be careful. Share this with someone you feel have not heard this news yet. Share it. I will see you guys in my next video. Hopefully it's not another video like this.